Today, I'm going to talk about one of the most common problems that people face when they are in a group of people where there are close relationships. Could be a family. So you take a group of people and they're in a family, or it could be a group of friends. And sometimes when basically something goes wrong or things fall apart between a couple of people in that group, whether the family or the group of friends, well, a lot of times you know exactly what happens. It has an effect on the overall group. If two people are suddenly not getting along or having relationship problems in a family or in a group of friends, it impacts the whole rest of the functioning of the group. It impacts everyone. And what happens a lot of times is there's one person, especially, that it really bothers that these two aren't getting along. It really makes the person need to solve the problem, fix it. In these situations, a lot of times one person will feel like they need the two people to repair the problem. They actually just can't move on unless they do. They really, at root, can't accept that these two people are no longer getting along. Now, sometimes when two people have a problem, maybe it lasts for an afternoon or a day. Maybe it lasts for a week, a few weeks, but then, we've all had relationships of all different kinds. Well, at some point, a lot of times those relationships get back to normal and people kind of move on. Well, sometimes when the rupture is a really serious one, the two people, the relationship doesn't repair. It doesn't get better. And maybe it appears as if the two will never have a strong or close relationship again. It's that significant. But if you are that one person where you really feel like you need the other two people to improve it, to fix it, to make it better, to make it like it was again in the past. If you're that person, you have to really look honestly at what's happening with you. There's a lot going on. There are a lot of layers in the intensity that you are feeling when it comes to these two people in this relationship that they have. The first thing is control. Now, a lot of times when we hear the word control, it's perfectly normal to think about control as being a malicious or a malignant thing, that someone has negative, bad motives and they're trying to control somebody or manipulate them. But that is not the only definition of control. Another part of control is wanting to have a sense of order in your world, in your environment, in your daily lifestyle, wanting there to be some order and predictability. And so, yes, it's normal if people do want to have some control over their immediate environment. Why? Because if things get out of order in our environment, it can make us feel symptomatic. We can feel symptoms of anxiety, depression, irritability, anger. When our environment, when something that we feel we need is out of order, it can make us feel anxious. Here's just one simple example. Think, for example, if you were to go to a vending machine and it's an incredibly hot day and you are just dying of thirst. You feel, and you put the money into the machine, you see like an ice cold drink that you're going to have and you need it. And all of a sudden the machine starts malfunctioning and you realize, oh my gosh, there's a little piece of tape over part of the machine and it says out of order. Well, how do you feel when something that you need is inside that machine and you're not going to get it? Out of order. It makes you feel automatically upset, frustrated. You can picture probably people like banging on the machine to try to make it work. Well, what do we do when this is a relationship that is in our personal life, whether in your family or in a group of friends, and this is something that you have counted on, there being harmony, people getting along, and that's something that you have needed, and all of a sudden it's out of order? It makes perfect sense if you're upset about it. But to try to over control two other people's relationship isn't good for you or them. We cannot force things. We cannot force people to have relationships that they don't feel like having. So the first thing is to catch yourself. Hold on. Am I trying to force this too hard? A lot of times when we try to force something, actually, we come up against a brick wall, and that makes our symptoms even worse. It can make us feel even more upset when we try harder to push and push and push to make something happen and it doesn't. It just exacerbates your frustration. It just exacerbates your sense of helplessness too. Well, it's not good for you, and it's not good for anyone else to try to force them to have relationships that don't feel natural to them. So that's the first part. The second part is to remember what you can control, and that is your reactions to things. You can say to yourself in this situation, I don't like it. In fact, I even hate it that these two aren't getting along, that there's a problem, that their relationship now has a major rupture. It's okay to not like it. But what you can tell yourself too is how I react to not liking it or even hating it. That's what matters. And so you can tell yourself, I don't like it, I hate it, but it's not my relationship to have, and it's not about what matters to me. It's their relationship, and they get the respect, and I need to show them that respect, that they get to choose the kind of relationship they want, even if I don't like it. This is not about me, even though it sure feels like it because I have such strong feelings. So you can acknowledge how strong and intense your feelings are. But on the other hand, to remember, this isn't about you. This is about two other individuals' relationship. Sometimes, in order to really actually mourn a loss the way things used to be, sometimes people find that they actually need to get to a point where they start believing it's possible that that relationship may never again be what it once was. That maybe in this case, for example, the two people won't have a close relationship going forward. Maybe as upsetting and painful as that is, maybe preparing for that possibility and beginning to accept that maybe that is the way that it will be, that I can't change it. That is actually one of the things that can help set you free from it, that can help you mourn that loss. You may prepare for something never changing, for something never getting better, and accepting that you will survive, you will go on, you will find a way to do what's required of you in your daily living. You will still be there to love and care about your friends or your family members. You will still do all that. Well, what's interesting is sometimes once you do that and you actually prepare yourself and learn to maybe let go a little bit, that actually is one of the things that can help set you free so that maybe one day it actually can get better and you can be pleasantly surprised. Another thing that I think is important is that you dealing with this situation, two people in your friend group or family group that aren't getting along, and really just being so upset by it, it actually can give you an opportunity to have some real emotional intimacies, to develop some social skills with each of those people that you might not have had before. And you can do it by doing this. Actually, have a conversation with each of them. You can have a conversation with each of them and say things like this. Hey, can I check in with you because I want to tell you that I have noticed myself lately on this issue, really feeling so strongly, but also kind of trying to push my will on the relationship that you two have, really trying to force this to change and get better and to fix it. And I want to know, have you noticed that? Do you feel like I have pressured you in any way to make up with that person? Do you feel like I have put any kind of pressure on you at all? Have you sensed me trying to force this? Has what I've been doing in response to all of this had any impact on you? By doing that, you are giving the other person a chance to talk about their feelings. And you know what? Anybody in a close relationship, especially when there has been stress and conflict, appreciate someone coming to them and giving them a chance to say, hey, this is how I've been feeling. You can give both of these people in your life a chance to share that with you. Now, prepare yourself. You may not hear things that you like. You may hear, well, yeah, I feel like you've been controlling, or you've been trying to force this, or you've been stressing me out. And, you may even feel in those moments the urge to want to defend yourself and explain why. Well, this is important to me. And no, if you really want to raise the emotional intimacy and have this be a moment where your relationship can grow and get better, and also you can model really good, healthy, adult, considerate behavior, then you just focus on listening. You just focus on listening, and then take what they say, take a few days, reflect on it, self-reflect. Do you know how good self-reflection is for all of us? Because it's when we learn to really look at our own motives, our own feelings, whether we are trying to force things, that's when we get, wait for it, some more self-awareness. Self-awareness. Self-awareness is what we all want more of. And you know what? People appreciate it that are in relationships with us when they see us develop more self-awareness. Okay. So you have an opportunity in this case, even though you're unhappy about what's going on, to grow, to get better, to be better, to be a better person, to be either a better, more supportive friend, to be a better, more understanding family member, and to develop a little bit of a stronger bond, with the people that you're talking about in these relationships. Ultimately, it's an opportunity. We can take the old mindset of, I wish this wasn't happening. It'll never be the same. This is awful and it's causing me so much pain, and shift it to a mindset that says, what can we learn from it? How can each one of us be better? And at the end of the day, how can I accept this with some grace? All right. I hope that I've said something that can be helpful to you. If you're struggling, if you've got a situation like this, or you've ever been in a situation where you have tried to force something too hard between two people for them to fix it, make the relationship better, make all the problems go away, who was it for you? Was it a friend, or maybe it was a son or a daughter? Maybe it was a sibling, and you had siblings that just couldn't get over a problem that they had, and maybe their relationship changed for many years. Share your comment in the chat about what happened to you and whether you forced things too much, what you learned as a result of this experience. Who knows? Maybe you'll share something in the chat that could be helpful to another person. I really always keep coming back to this point, that even our worst experiences can be helpful to another person if we can share them. We can all inspire each other, not just experts, psychologists like myself, but we all have wisdom. And that's really one of the things that the comment section can serve as for my self-help videos. All right. You can also check out some of my other videos. I've got hundreds of videos here on my channel, Dr. Seth Psychologist, that I have recorded for you. And hopefully they can give you tips or maybe a little bit of comfort.